Woody Allen's Decades in Film.
A podcast about the incredible filmography of one of the most prolific and most controversial filmmakers of our time. From Redneck Cella Studios A&B in Hong Kong, we are your hosts, William Elvin and Q.
What's up, everyone? We are What Woody Do, and we are back. We haven't done this for a week because we were so busy. So while we're recording this one, this is actually like fresh from a break, right? And we apologize to everyone for skipping 1 week. I think I think that was 2 weeks ago when they listened to this recording. But yeah, we were busy with a lot of stuff, and also our of course the music stuff and our wives' birthdays, because our wives' birthdays are just a day apart.
Yeah,
And
of course.
yeah, so we were so busy. But
Yeah, and
I think it was a good break. Do you agree with me? It's like after that we see this film. It's a very it's a very interesting film, and yeah, let's talk about it. Let's give them the lowdown of the Purple Rose of Cairo.
Before I start this summary of what we just watched, I mean, to harp on what William just said, that kind of life kind of overtook us the past week, so we kind of skipped it. And on behalf of the rest of the on behalf of our listeners, I'd like to congratulate my co-host William for launching. This guy just launched his first single, his first official single, and that was why
first single.
Yeah, and that was why we kind of had a lot to do. one of the reasons why.
Yeah.
So as William has said, that this jumping point into this next movie, The Purple Rose of Cairo, it was actually quite compared to a lot of the before movies in this era. I think I'm liking this one the best. But holding off on all of those comments, what is The Purple Rose of Cairo? 1985's The Purple Rose of Cairo stars Mia Farrow as Cecilia, a lonely and unhappy housewife who finds solace in watching movies in their local cinema, much like us. Although, unlike we are not at all unhappy with our spouses.
But we're not.
But we do like watching movies. So her life suddenly takes a strange turn when a funny thing happens at the movies.
And we'll talk about that funny thing in a bit.
Oh yeah. So okay, just to jump right in, I really like this movie. You've mentioned that this is your first introduction to the Woodyverse, and I totally agree with you that this movie kind of really takes you in, especially for movie buffs. Well, I'd like to consider myself a movie buff at least. To find something like this filmed in this era, actually even in today's standards, this film is pretty spot on. I like I like how this movie was filmed and how the narrative went along, and it's pretty cool. I was pleasantly surprised.
The last time we were talking about Broadway Danny Rose being a very wholesome film, right? I think this is much more wholesome than ever. This is the you have prostitute characters like Diane Weist's character, and we're gonna talk about her later. But it's just like it's a fun gag in there that's actually charming. And it's this film is really, really special. I just want to elaborate a bit about the way I saw this movie. So I was not a total stranger to Woody Allen, but I kind of saw clips of him as a comedian. I saw this as a kid. I saw a clip of Woody Allen boxing a kangaroo. And so
What?
that's how I knew Woody. Yeah.
Okay.
He has a skit where he boxes a kangaroo. So that's how I saw Woody. That's who I thought Woody Allen was. And so I was
Okay.
surfing. I was surfing the TV channel. I was surfing TV channels, not yet the web at
Okay.
that time. Uh,
Okay.
this is way, 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 way before. I can't even remember what exact year it was. But I came across Turner Classic Movies (TCM) on
Okay.
cable
Oh, right.
in the
TCM.
Philippines.
That's yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
yeah. That's a good source of old
and
movies.
yeah. When I flipped the channel, I remember it being the exact start of the movie, but after the credits, because Woody would show the credits first. Like he'd
Yes.
get it out
Yes.
of the way, right? Like everyone, he shows the names, the everything on a black screen, and then the
Mhm.
movie just starts. Um,
Mhm.
so I remember well, I flip the channel and I see the first scene of this play, of this film rather, where someone's arranging the marquee of the theater into the title, the Purple Rose of Cairo. And so I
Mhm.
practically saw the whole film without knowing that it was, a Woody Allen film. And I was just so this film is so good.
Yeah.
That sparked my interest in like older movies, classic movies.
Mhm.
And so I could say that this film really made me into it really shaped my taste in movies, the way I view movies today. And
Mm,
it's
mm.
kind of funny because there's an extra layer of it's it's a film I like about another film about a character in that film
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
that film. So it's really an interesting thing. So yeah,
It's
that's it. Then I researched what this film was called. I looked up the TV guide. We had those magazines back then. I don't know if you remember it, but you have to buy like a TV guide, and
right. Right.
see like what time is it now, as I'm watching this, and what the title of the show was. So I saw the Purple Rose of Cairo. So I went and asked around who directed this film, and yeah, it was
Who
Woody
was
Allen. And I said,
responsible for
isn't
this?
that the comedian? He's the kangaroo boxer guy, right? It's yeah, yeah. So that's my story with this film.
I love that that was your reference. That oh, is he the comedian who punches kangaroo? I love that. Although I have not seen Woody Allen be in a ring with a kangaroo, but
I think you will after this show.
that this movie is so self aware that it's like it's a movieception in itself. So I like this movie because it feels so fresh in the way that it attacks kind of that fantasy. So it kind of goes it doesn't take itself too seriously, but at the same time it shows kind of like it kind of reboots the viewer into living that fantasy world through the eyes of a real person in the movie. So Mia Farrow's character Cecilia, she's
Hmm. Yeah.
kind of like escaping her dreary existence. So she just got fired from her waitressing job. Her marriage is on the rocks, and this watching
Yeah.
movies for her is basically her solace. This is her escape.
Yeah.
And then to be acknowledged all of a sudden by by the protagonist in the film and just been and just straight away spoken to from the silver screen, and then that character just steps off this dreamy hunk of a character of her dreams, just steps off the silver screen and just sweeps her away to
Yeah.
to have a day, that to me is just
Yeah.
amazing. And anyone
Yeah.
watching this film, I would think at the time that it was shown, would have thought this was brilliant. And if I were
Yeah.
in, just fantasies over fantasies of what could have been, what could be if you were in Cecilia's shoes. And that for me is amazing. This almost feel like a reverse Roger Rabbit movie,
Mm.
where
Right.
where Roger's character just steps off the animation and just exists in the real world. Who framed Roger Rabbit?
Right.
That's the show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah. Yeah.
that kind of has the same vibe to me, although this is kind of like not
Way
an animation.
earlier. And
Yeah,
way earlier.
was it? Oh wow, right. Yeah.
This is 1985. I can't remember what year Who Framed Roger Rabbit
Oh, it wasn't.
was shown.
It wasn't. It wasn't so early from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Who Framed Roger Rabbit came out in 1988. So just 3 years.
Oh yeah, 2
prior.
years before. Yeah, 3 years before. Yeah.
Before we continue today's discussion, we'd like to invite everyone to follow us on our channels and social media accounts. What Would He Do podcast is available on Spotify, Anchor.fm, and other major streaming platforms.
Yes, you can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. All you have to do is visit our homepage at www.williamelvin.com/whatwouldydoo for all our links.
Or you can email us, and we'd love to have a quick chat with you at whatwouldydoo@gmail.com.
Yeah, let's hear your notes. Let's hear your first time Purple Rose Divergenized notes.
These are just notes that kind of like struck me while I was watching it. So this is when I wrote here, when your character overtakes the real you. So I think I wrote this
Yeah. You're talking about the
when-
Gil Shepard, Tom Baxter thing,
Yeah.
right?
So when I think Gil Shepard's character, Gil Shepard was talking to his agent, and then they were talking about Tom Baxter stepped off the silver screen, and he might be robbing banks and murdering people. Like, what? But he's me. He's my character. and then I love the.
He has the same
visual-
exact prints, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I love
Yeah.
the visual of how they have of how Woody recreated kind of like the idea of how a movie character would live in the real world, where when he kissed Mia Farrow, when he kissed Cecilia, when when Tom Baxter kissed Cecilia, he was like, "Oh, where's the fade out?"
Where's the fade out? You're
I
making
wish-
love without the fade.
I wish that happened in the real world, where you you just wait for a fade out, and then all of a sudden you're in a hotel room or you're in a bedroom, all naked and just in the moment. That would be amazing. But yeah, so it's so these plays around
you
like
remember the way he paid with. Sorry, we're overlapping because I think the internet is screwing us up. But yeah, I was talking about the way he paid the restaurant the stage money, right? And that just like cracked me up when I first saw that scene. It's like, of course that's gonna happen.
the waiter was like, "Are you being serious?" and then in reverse, when Cecilia's character went into the movie, and then they went to Copacabana, and then the guy was like, "Hold on, for table for 7, please." And then the guy was like, he was so lost. He's like,
But it was always 6.
it was always 6. That's yeah.
And the champagne was just ginger ale. Did you catch that?
Yes. So she was like, I don't know how much you're paying for the champagne, but it's all ginger ale.
It's just no. I love the waiter of that scene, the Copacabana waiter, and he was just like, "Really? We can do anything now? So I don't have to be a waiter anymore. I can tap dance now." And he's just like, and he
Get it, boys.
he just does it. He just does it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's
It's really,
amazing.
really,
That's amazing.
really good-hearted. I think this is Woody at his most good-hearted. It's just
I agree.
this is so, it's wonderful. It is wonderful. Um, but I want to talk about the Mia Farrow character because I'm not sure. We have to double check this. But isn't this just the second film without Woody in it?
Yes.
Do you remember?
Yes. Yes.
So the first
film
one was
Interiors.
Interiors.
This was the second.
This is just the second one, right?
Yes.
So there is no Woody here, but we're gonna see a lot of what we call it in the fan community are the Woody surrogate characters. That it could have been played by Woody, but he's not playing it. And Mia Farrow is the Woody Allen character in this film. You agree with that, right? She
I
is
agree.
the personification of the Woody Allen character here. And the way she speaks, the way she carries herself, this is Woody Allen, and you could tell that Woody Allen, this is a love letter to the medium that he wholeheartedly loves. That's just
Correct.
it makes it even more amazing. So what do you think of Mia Farrow's performance this time
I
after
like.
Broadway Danny Rose?
I think I like her performance here the best
Yeah.
because I think she's still kind of she's still finding her chops, I would think. Apart from playing off of Woody.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know
yeah.
how the previous movies she was always playing against Woody. And
Oh
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
that
yeah,
may
yeah. And
that
now
may have
it's her.
influenced
Yeah,
her performance. And
yeah.
this time I saw something a little bit different. Her portrayal was a bit, more Mia than Woody. Although she was
Because
the
this
Woody
is a
character
film
here.
about her.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
This is
I
her
like
film. This is Mia
correct,
Farrow's film. Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
I kind of feel bad too because her sister, who was also kind of a bit player here, Stephanie Farrow.
Oh, she's the co-worker. She's the
Yeah,
she's the other waitress
she's literally she's
in the
literally
diner.
Cecilia's sister. Her cast name was Cecilia's sister. Is her name Stephanie Farrow?
Stephanie Farrow. Yeah,
Stephanie.
Stephanie Farrow. Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, so I was looking through the cast and I saw her name. Oh, I was like, okay. And she plays Cecilia's sister. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So yeah, so
And she is
her
Mia Farrow's sister.
exactly.
Like in all levels of it. It's like, oh, do you know an actress called Stephanie Farrow? No, I know a Mia Farrow. Oh yeah, it's her sister.
Yeah, exactly. So, but going
But
back
yeah,
to the
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's
discussion,
all good, right? It's all good. She got her
of
face
course,
in here.
going back to the discussion about Cecilia's character, I liked how they kind of like built, and I said at the beginning of the podcast that I liked how her character was kind of like this. Cinema was her escape. Cinema was
Yeah.
her sanctuary, and with a number of times that she's seen this movie, that she knows all of the dialogue, she knows what's happening. So to be in her shoes, watching intently in the movie that I love watching, and then all of a sudden one of the actors on the screen breaks the fourth wall and talks to me and steps off. It's just surreal for me. That's just, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And then I like how they kind of like portrayed after Tom Baxter steps off. They're like, all of the cast in the movie suddenly panics, and they were like, how do we go on with this movie? And then they just stay there and start playing cards and just
And the way they complain about it is that like he's a minor character, but he's like, we can't go with the story without him in here, even though he's just a minor character, and they're just so frustrated, and the effect was, they were the audience from the cinema audience were the ones who were supposed to observe these people, and then it becomes like a mirror where the actors or the characters in the cinema are observing the people at the theater. And there was this one thing where she's like, he's not so good with live humans, so it's so brilliant. This film is just so brilliant.
And I like how they were like really talking. Now I'm wondering how it was for the film characters to. I wonder if in their world there was also a screen looking out onto a sea of audience. Because I can't for the life of me picture that. I'm like, how does it look from the other side? Is it like a stage where you can see the audience and they're looking at you? But it's a film, so it's all of those questions and fantasies. But it's just so endearing to watch, like the playing between the movie characters. I'm not even saying that the actors on the film, because they're really just movie characters and not even the actors and actresses themselves.
Yeah. It's not the actors, it's the characters. Yeah.
So this movie was quite interesting for me, and to be honest, this kind of like really drew me in, and that was really clever the way that Woody decided to treat this as it is.
If you're enjoying our discussion, another perfect companion for your Woody Allen film marathons is the Woody Allen Pages podcast at www.woodyallenpages.com.
It's a great resource for film-by-film details that would surely add to your Woody Allen viewing experience. So check them out.
So is it safe to say that, so far, like a decade and a half, this is gonna be one of your top 3 or top 5 among that upper tier list?
Decade? Yeah.
No, not just this decade. It's like
for sure.
The Woody filmography so far. Right.
Yes, I think it is safe to say that this is going to be at least in my top 10.
And you know what's interesting for me? You know how you see movies, psychologically, we enjoy seeing movies because movies make sense. That's the thing. Our lives don't make sense. We wake up one morning and suddenly things that are not supposed to happen to you, and you don't know why. Life's like that, and it's very telling that Woody set this film in the Depression era. There's nothing great happening out there.
Yeah.
And so, we enjoy movies because it's a structural thing that tells a story about our lives, which is entirely different because now it makes sense. Now it has a theme. Now it's it's sequenced in order. You tell the story straight. And there's this one line here which I find very, very, very interesting. Well, Woody Allen's a great writer. It's safe to say that. But there's this line here where a one-time character just says, "I want what happened last week to happen again this week,
Yeah,
because otherwise, what's the point?" Right? It's
yeah.
like
What's the point of living?
we watch movies because, yeah, what's the point of living? Because this is the only time where we can see something that is consistent. You go there and what's supposed to happen will happen, and then this happens. And so it's like brilliance all around. Just well written. Mia Farrow was phenomenal, I think, in my opinion, in this film. Jeff Daniels, we
You mean dumber?
before we see this, yeah, before we saw this film, like, even me, when I first saw this film, I knew this guy as the guy from Dumb and Dumber. And he's like, he's like,
This is the
wow, he's
dude
so
who licked,
good in here.
this is the dude who licked the snow lift.
Right? And it's so
Yeah.
it's just so amazing. It's so amazing. Still one of my favorites. I think I've seen this film for like the seventh time now. But it's still great. I mean, I still find new things about this film. There's this one scene earlier on that gets repeated towards the end, where Mia Farrow's husband, Cecilia's husband,
Mhm.
just says, "Yeah, see what you can do with the real world. Go out to the real world, and you'll come back.
Yeah.
You'll come back. I know that you'll come back." And it's foreshadowing the whole thing. It sets up the whole theme. I think this is a story about people wanting to escape the roles that are given to them by society. Even Gil Shepard, he's supposed to be a Hollywood star, and therefore, even if he liked or loved Cecilia, Mia Farrow, this small town girl, he just can't go back to Hollywood with this girl, because it's gonna be completely out of what he's supposed to be in Hollywood. It's all this, and therefore they're just gonna come back. Tom Baxter came back to the film. Cecilia's still in there. Gil Shepard is going back to Hollywood, and
Mhm.
it's such a, I don't know if you agree with this, but it's such a downer ending for a film that's been charming um and lighthearted.
Mhm.
I don't know if you feel that way, but the studio definitely asked Woody Allen to change the ending into a happier ending, and he just pulled his creative control card and said, "No, I'm not going to do that,
Yeah.
because that's my ending, and I think that's my happy ending. This is a happy ending for
Correct.
me." So,
Correct.
how do you feel about the ending? How do you feel
No,
about this whole thing?
I like that he didn't sell out the ending, because normally, like as you've said, that for feel good movies like this, it's normal to end on a high, right? I mean, we're
Yeah,
so used to having such a happy ending, so we're all so oriented with the Disneyfying of films, that pulling the plug on the real world, we can't stand it. It's depressing almost
yeah,
to witness, because movies are such an escape, and movies are such a fantasy, such a fantastic way to view things. A lot of us, myself included, go to the movies to see a different take on life, to see our favorite characters going through the motions, to see those things. And then, so for Cecilia's character, for that to end in such a depressing thud, that at one moment she feels, there's she has a line there that uh she she says that last week I was unloved, now two people love me, and it's the same two people.
yeah.
So that struck me as such an idealistic way to look at it, just to have the plug, or just to have the rug pulled from under you
Yeah.
at the very end
Right.
of the
Right.
film, where none of these lovers, so to speak, are actually real. Are actually,
Oh yeah.
there
Even
for
the
you.
real guy wasn't
Exactly.
real.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So
Yeah.
for me, that's such a painful thing, and at the same time, that separates it from being a fantasy. That kind of like really pulls you down to reality, because these things don't happen in the real world. So I
And
like how he
what's
did that.
yeah.
Yeah, so it kind of keeps you thinking, and kind of like grounds you that, oh, right, I can't stay in the movies. I can't just pine for these characters all the time, because you know these things are written, my life isn't.
Yeah.
So yeah,
What,
so I like it.
what a rich movie, and it's deceptively rich. Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
deceptively simple because it's
correct.
like you could just go to to watch this film and just take it as is, and not think much about it. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's the big difference because when Woody gets a bit deeper, he really gets deeper. Like you like Annie Hall and interiors.
Yeah.
When he tries to do those things, he just does it.
Mm-hmm.
Stardust Memories. He doesn't package it in such a way it's accessible, but it's deep but still accessible. But this one
Yeah,
is, like
yeah, yeah.
regular viewers can just, that was a fun movie. It's so sweet, but it's so sad and whatever. But this is a much richer film now that you've mentioned it, because you remember this line where Mia Farrow just says, I'm in love with a guy and he's fictional, but you can't have everything.
Yeah, yeah, right,
you,
right,
you
right.
know, and as I said, this is a story where the characters just want to escape and be, rebel against the role society has given
Mm-hmm.
them. Yeah, this line would really speak to me. And it also ties up the whole thing. When Mia Farrow, when Cecilia brought Tom Baxter to the chapel, and she introduces the idea of a god, and
God.
Tom Baxter was like, yeah, oh yeah, I get that. That's like the writers of the Purple Rose of Cairo. And she says, well, yeah, it's kind of like that, because if there are no writers, if there's no God, it's like a movie
Yeah.
without a point and without a happy ending. And voila, this movie doesn't have a happy ending. It's just so, this is a very Woody Allen film, and I love it. I think it's gonna go back to my. I told you my list goes, like, it shuffles all
Mm,
the time, but I think this is,
mm.
watching this again. It just like it's number one again in my in my list. But let's talk about that later on.
Yeah.
Um,
Before we continue today's discussion, we'd like to invite everyone to follow us on our channels and social media accounts. What Would He Do podcast is available on Spotify, Anchor.fm, and other major streaming platforms.
Yes, you can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. All you have to do is visit our homepage at www.williamelvin.com/whatwouldydoo for all our links.
Or you can email us, and we'd love to have a quick chat with you at whatwouldydoo@gmail.com.
Jeff Daniels was not the one cast in this movie initially. You want to
Really?
know who that guy was supposed to be?
Who?
It's Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton was cast to do the
Really?
Tom Baxter slash Gil Shepard role, and he actually
Really?
shot some scenes. And you actually saw one of those scenes where Michael Keaton was there. He was let go by Woody Allen because he looked. I think the reason given was he acted much too modern for this film. So Woody,
Okay.
after shooting some scenes with Michael
With Michael
Keaton,
Keaton.
scraps the scenes. Woody scrapped the scenes, but kept one. You remember
Okay.
when they first? I think that's the scene when they first went to the carnival. The long shot with with the big the
Yeah, yeah,
Ferris wheel in there.
yeah.
Yeah, that's Michael Keaton. That's Michael Keaton.
Okay,
That's
okay.
Michael Keaton and Mia Farrow.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah, that's and that ties. You remember when we were talking about this off the air or before our broadcast? I said
Mhm.
Woody doesn't typically direct his actors. He casts actors and let them go with however they want to attack the role or approach the role, and
Correct, correct.
that's what he did. You know, it's if it doesn't work, it sometimes he just keeps the actor and just that's what he did. And this time he just said no, I have to replace him, and they found Jeff Daniels. I think this is a
That's amazing.
significant role for Jeff Daniels, and it would have been different with Michael Keaton in there. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's a tidbit in this film. Did you find any other tidbits from IMDb or whatever? Because
Well, I haven't yet. Let's see. Let's browse through the through the trivia. But yeah, that's actually quite surprising for me that Michael Keaton was sacked for this movie. Oh right, yeah. So apparently, yeah. So it says here, Jeff Daniels replaced Michael Keaton in the lead role. Keaton was originally cast and footage was shot for 10 days. Ah,
yeah,
okay.
wow, he was shooting for
Wow.
10 days with Woody Allen.
So, but okay, to add to that, apparently Keaton was to appear in another later Allen film to make up for this disappointment. But to date, at least
Didn't
by
happen.
August of 2020, this has yet to occur.
No, it has. It hasn't. Yeah, I don't think it will happen. I mean, I hope it will happen. But
Okay,
I don't know.
to add to that bit of trivia. So, in an interview in a Belgian magazine, Viggo Mortensen, who played what's
Oh,
his face Aragorn in The Lord of the Rings,
yeah,
said that he
right,
was
yeah.
very proud to have played a small role in the movie during a difficult time of his life. When he proudly took his entire family to a movie theater to see it, he was extremely disappointed to find out all of the scenes were cut from the final movie. Sucks to be him for this movie.
Sucks to be him, but he gets to be Aragorn, and that's fine, right?
Oh,
Uh,
exactly, exactly.
well, this is not the first time it will happen in a Woody Allen movie. There's another film
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
horizon. I'm not going to tell you which that is, where
Hmm.
Woody Allen actually reshot like I don't know 90 to 95% of the film and recast
Hmm.
the whole thing. So they practically finished the film, but then in the editing room, Woody said, "This isn't gonna work. I'm gonna rework the whole thing." And that will happen also in this decade. I'm not gonna tell you what that is, but
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
it's starting to get interesting for the 80s. Don't you agree? The next one
Agree,
is
agree,
gonna
agree,
be
agree.
Hannah and her sisters,
Oh,
and again, it stars Mia Farrow, and we're gonna see more of Diane Wiest, who played Emma, the prostitute in this film.
I
And
like
guess
her.
who else is in the next movie? Just to excite you a bit, guess who else is in the next movie?
I have no idea. I
Well,
absolutely
Woody
have
Allen is
no
gonna
idea.
be in the next movie.
Oh, okay, fantastic.
Yeah. But also Michael Caine is gonna be in the movie. So it's gonna be
Really?
Woody Allen, Michael Caine, Mia Farrow, and a whole
Okay.
lot of. It's gonna be fantastic. But
Ah,
Hannah
Sir
and her
Michael
sisters is next.
Caine.
Yeah, Michael Caine is gonna be here. So we're gonna welcome Michael Caine in the Woodyverse. Wow. Coming off of this, what are you expecting? Also, last point before we talk about what's going on in your head right now. This is also the last film. This is the last Gordon Willis Woody Allen collaboration. So
Oh,
Woody
really?
is gonna work with another. I another cinematographer going forward, but this is the last Gordon Willis, and he just like I don't know because like it's I don't know if it's gonna be that much different. Let's talk about that. But Gordon Willis did fantastic work with Woody Allen from Annie
fabulous work.
Hall,
Yeah,
Annie Hall,
yeah, yeah.
Manhattan. He shot Manhattan.
Mm.
Interiors was beautiful. Um, Zelig was a wonder, and
Oh yeah. Oh
this
yeah.
one, this one is his last collaboration with Woody. Woody's gonna employ Carlo De Palma for the next films and so,
Oh.
but we're just 1 decade and a half in,
Yeah,
but
correct.
we're enjoying it so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good stuff are coming. Hannah and Her Sisters, Radio Days, Another Woman, September, and Crimes and Misdemeanors are next. And
Mm-hmm.
Q's gonna be in for a ride, so we appreciate if you'd join that journey with us. Thank you so much, and see you next week for Hannah and Her Sisters.
That was today's episode of Woody Allen's Decades in Film, a podcast about the incredible filmography of one of the most prolific and most controversial filmmakers of our time.
Join us again next week for another deep dive on the art of Woody Allen.